Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are talking with the Anga family, Peter and Elizabeth. Thank you. Sharing quite a few gems. I hope that you are writing down. Write down, or at least remember to go to their channel so that you can be able to get more knowledge on what we are talking about. So, yeah, guys, you guys homeschool your children. And that is quite a very unique concept in Kenya. It's done in other places, but quite unique. And of course, there's the obvious cost savings, because the cost of private schools is driving families to the brink of poverty. You know, somebody pays school fees and can't drive their car. Or somebody pays school fees, but they can't do something else that is important just because of school fees. Of course, the cost is obvious. So what additional benefits do you guys see now that you started homeschooling your children? Maybe you can share about it so that people can be able to, And maybe you can also say what homeschooling is. I'm sure there are people who don't know what homeschooling is. And of course, share the over and above financial benefit. What other benefits are there?
As we look at it, homeschooling in our concept is we don't take our children to regular school, and instead we do our own teaching of the lessons and subjects they would have learned in school. And of course, we hope that we are actually cooperating far much more than they would have got it in school with the home experience as well.
So to talk about the benefits, other than the financial benefits you've touched on, for us, the biggest benefit has been health. Health of our children. We found that them going to school was hurting them so much health-wise because of the laws and regulations that many schools have, especially eating in school. They have to wake up early. You see, all that is getting into their health. So we decided we want to monitor what our children are putting into their bodies, because in this day and era, there's so much food that we all know that is so highly processed. Getting organic foods and high quality foods is very expensive. So for us, we felt the expensive part of paying school fees, we can actually give our children, maybe if it's organic food, and have them have better quality, health, and then secondly, it's about sleep. There's something that I've realized many people maybe have not realized, but sleep is a very integral part of a child's growth, because up to a certain age, that's when a child basically shoots up and increase in weight, especially even adolescents there. But this is the time you find, especially in Kenya, children wake up very early. By 6:30, they're supposed to be in school for preps, maybe like our daughter who is 12 years, they're supposed to be in school by 7:30. I feel that is too early for a child. That is stolen childhood. That's stolen childhood. That will have an effect on their bodies. It will definitely have an effect in the body. And it doesn't have to be now. It can even be later. You see, some of these things are accrued. We feel like, even as we went to school and we went through the system, and then look at us, we are here. But there was so much damage that was done to our health. There was so much damage. I can openly share that maybe I got things like varicose because of sitting in class for many, many hours. Blood maybe did not go through circulation properly through my feet. So when you sit back and analyze such kind of things, you will see that as much as a child is getting years, but at what cost? At what cost?
Important to also look at the cost beyond the financial, because it is costs.
Yes. It is a cost. At what cost? As you want that kind of education, yes, but at what cost? For us, health is what stands up more than these others. And then secondly is about their brain. At this age also, young children especially, that's when their brain is just growing. to great heights in, nerves, connection, and things like that. So when a child is not getting adequate food, a certain type of food at that early age, you stunt the growth of the brain. At some point, yes, they'll grow into maturation, but there's a part level of the brain that you have denied.
Yeah.
And it is either you lose it, what is it? Use it or you lose it. So those are the things that made an informed decision of having the children stay at home, maybe for just a certain season, maybe, as God leadeth us. And then after they have gone through this growth curve that is necessary, that we put our eyes on, we can release them now, or we can still continue homeschooling. Yeah, so health is one. And then two is the bonds. Those are the two main ones is health and then the bond, family bond. We don't take it for granted that our children are spending time together. I had an issue where you find children are so close to other children, which is not a bad thing. But when it comes to home, their siblings are like strangers because you've spent how many hours away from home? Let's count. How many hours is it they've spent away from home just being in Kenya? This is over 8 to 9 hours away. So you will find that these children will have a bond with the people they spend their day with. And then by the time they come home, it's time to do homework. It's time to sleep. It's time they are tired. It's time for all that. So what time do they have to have a proper nourishing relationship with their siblings and with their parents? So that is what we didn't want. We wanted them to first have a proper relationship, to have that close-knit bond with their siblings before they go out to create that bond. The love they experience in the home with their siblings and how they express love. If they don't get it, how will they share with others? So it is that love that will flow from their home to the outside people, to their friends. So that is our two main reasons. Other than that, there's what is it called? Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Others also, with the homeschooling, we also discover that going by the time frames, what you would spend to cover, maybe you're teaching them some topic in mathematics or like that, we actually discover that you can do it in a faster, shorter period of time, doing one-on-one with one child than it would happen in a class setup. So it actually frees up more time for these children, and they have had time to do self-interest exploration now. We discovered our son, for example, has had a lot of time to perfect his skill in making origamis with the papers. Also, they have had time to learn to deal with animals, dogs, and they have really become so good at it. And we've seen such benefits coming up with time and increasing. Also now, maybe like in some of even our videos in our channel, we get time to go cycling with them very early in the morning or many other days, something which would not happen if they were doing regular school. So there's been a lot more time available now to pursue other interests also.
And it's important that you shared about child development, because people don't think about it, but it is said that between the ages of 0 to 6 is when a child has so much potential to grow, like their capacity to think, the things they experience, can be able to give them so much knowledge in the 6 years, much faster than adults. They learn much more things. They experience much more things in the 6 years, that if you put them in an institution which may not be able to give them the stimuli in their brains to be able to enhance the connection of the brain. Because it's interesting, because the amount of cells in volume everyone has is generally the same. But the question is, how well does your brain work? And I think you guys have touched on that. And I don't want to talk more about it, because people can be able to go to your channel and be able to hear more about homeschooling and the benefits and the things that we are talking about, because even science agrees that children who have much more stimuli and especially with their parents and siblings who care much more, who are more deliberate in sharing and teaching them and allowing them to learn and to experience, allows these children to even be able to get higher thinking capacity and to also be able to think on their own. And it's interesting because I think CBC in Kenya has followed from your footsteps, yeah? The competency-based curriculum. Because people teach from experience. The children experience, then they learn, which is an interesting concept. So yeah, for more of this, guys, you should go to their channel to be able to ask the questions on how they do it, which curriculum they use. You can be able to get much more information that is available on their channel, and they can be able to create to tailor-make for you. As we debunk this whole story about homeschooling, and yeah, it's a big topic that we can't exhaust in this session. Yeah, let's go back to homesteading, acquiring land. I can imagine acquiring land. Land has so many aspects. And I can imagine for a homestead, land for a homestead is different from maybe land for in an urban area that you want to build a home, or a commercial land where you want to set up some form of business. So what are the things that you consider when you are acquiring land? What is the process that you go through? And what factors do you look into the land to buy? Do you look at like water availability? Like, what do you look into before, or what is more important for you as you acquire land, so that as our guests think about acquiring land and starting a homestead, it's something they could be able to think about also.
Yeah. Okay. Now, there's not really one general rule about that, but you would say you have to start with, of course, your budget and the area you'd love to have. Even if you loved a certain area and your budget doesn't allow you to get there, you'll have to go to plan B. So what you are able to set aside for that purpose dictates location and the size also of what you're able to get. Now, I would like to use our recent example. You mentioned our new project at Uzima Tele. Now, in that particular place, we went for there because also the quantity of land which we were able to get. That was one of the main driving factors, because like that region is a bit, remote, very far away. So it's got less value according to the way Kenyans buy land. Now, that, of course, catered very well into our budget, because now we were able to get a far much larger area. That's what we wanted, at a price which was not so hard on our pockets. And, those are the main things. And then, of course, now you have to look at now the security bit of it. Now, it's really a big factor, like in Kenya, where tribalism and just the general security of places really matter a lot. So there are things which it's more of like an individual checklist which you have to check depending on each area. But in all, I think what we did on our own is it's about, you just have to ask God to show you. As in, we really believe that you have to pray and get good direction about it. Beside the research which I've mentioned, do your research, pray about it, and then most of all, agree with your spouse, because I might like certain parts about this place, and there's one thing she doesn't like about it. And if she holds it back and we go ahead and have that place, then later on, she doesn't want anything to do with that place. So you really have to agree. As the Bible says, two cannot work together unless they agree. You have to be fully in agreement on that one. Otherwise, you tell me that was your project, go ahead and do it. When things get tough I told you this was not good. And
Are you trying to imply that I do that? I don't know.
So, in fact, I should say this should be the first one. If you are, even if it is cheap and you've not agreed, even if it's please,
it won't work.
just whatever. Yeah, you have to agree.
I don't do any of those things.
Okay. So,
yeah. And then the last one is the purpose of the land. Why do you want to buy the land? Yeah, you don't just buy land because Kenyans are buying land. There's this movement where everyone is just, we were buying land. Where is this place?
Maguta.
Yes, exactly. Yes, everyone is just buying land. Yes. So, what is your purpose for that land? Just because your neighbor is saying there's land being sold, come, there's a chama where we are pulling resources together to buy land. What for? So the purpose of your land will determine where you want to buy, how much do you want to buy, and for how long do you want maybe to have that land. Because if you want to do maybe poultry farming, for some people, they can just rent a place instead of having to buy a place, a quarter, or is it an eighth of a place that they will never live there, or just and sink money for nothing. So what is the purpose? The main reason is the purpose. Yeah. So if you miss on the purpose, that is money that you just sink. It will be like a sinkhole.
Yeah. And then you mentioned about the resources now available, like water and accessibility. Now, okay, being who we are, we really don't find that limiting to us. Yeah. We believe even in those dry areas, there's water underground, or maybe once in a while it rains and there's a lot of it, you can harvest that water. Yeah. If it's roads, well, make one as you get there. So there's really nothing that should hold you back. And there's an advantage to those ones. You'll really have that place to yourself. And
not just coming anyhow.
Yeah, exactly. So let's not limit ourselves to the so-called social amenities which have been provided for. Those ones actually drive up prices of places, and also maybe it attracts people you might not really like.
For us, but that is our that is our own. That is how we look at it. We don't look so much at the social amenities that the government is giving. We believe in you have a brain, you have hands, you can go have water. You can tap on this.
On rainwater and
that is our own mentality. So for everyone, and that's why we said for everyone, you have to do your own research. Are you a person who cannot deal with maybe getting water from underground or storing water? It depends. So for us, we say there is no limiting factor. If we love a place, we will see how to deal with the challenges. That's why there is something called a brain.
And it's important that you mention about the things, those things, because I think people are limited to thinking that you need to get all these things in place, like water and electricity lines passing through your land and good roads. But then the cost escalates as those things come. So like you have to find a balance. And it's important that you have mentioned that things to do with like water and electricity, you can have your way around them. Like you guys have installed solar and are powering a lot of things from solar, and you also have a wind generator. You also have water harvesting. Maybe you can talk about these things. So, because some people don't really, I don't know whether they don't think about it or they've never imagined that somebody could just have rainwater and it's sufficient, or just have solar and it's sufficient. Maybe you can talk about those things as regards to they should not limit you in the place that you would want to set up a homestead.
Okay. I could start with the solar bit. Yeah? It's not something like I used to know so much about until when we built our own home and we discovered that being connected to the grid was the figures being quoted, the cost of doing that, because we were more than a given radius from the nearest transformer. It was really high. It was almost like buying a and building another place altogether. So we were forced to begin with solar, and we built our knowledge now and also capacity over time. The beauty about solar is that we've been able to increase and our capacity and such that to the extent now we actually do everything else that a normal homestead would have their power needs. Yeah, and it's really liberating when you're able to do that. And it's for, I would say, many people would be actually be able to learn to operate it, even if initially you get technical help to do it. If you are hands-on person and you watch and all that, you'll actually understand the concepts, how those things work, so that it should be actually something you're able to work yourself. I wouldn't say someone who's really hands-off, like go and start, just build and use solar, and they will probably get frustrated at some point, unless they're able to invest a lot in the beginning and have everything fully functional. Maybe it will work that way. But if it's something which you hope to keep on adding up, you might as well learn how to do that, and it will keep the cost down and even also make you less frustrated. Yeah. And about also the costing is that fine, you may spend more with the solar in the start, but within 2 or 3 years, it will have returned basically everything. You'll have saved what you have spent, and you'll actually be now even. And after that, you're actually enjoying free power and free everything. And more or less now, the machines available, you can actually power almost everything using solar, from our experience. And even I think a few months back, even within this country, there was talk about many establishments, that is the factories and such, switching to solar. Because the power situation becomes so much.
But you need to be hands-on. That's what I've learned. It won't work with having to call someone all the time to come and help you sort it out. I think this one is something that someone has to be properly hands-on themselves. From my opinion, yes, you have to be hands-on.
It's important. As for the you guys have shared about you can live out of solar, you can live off solar and water from the rain and meet all your needs. Might be expensive to set up, but it's free electricity, free water. So basically, if the grid shuts down, you guys are the only people who will have electricity among few others. It's good to mention it because it is mind-blowing that people will be stuck, but you guys will be okay. So that's something that people should consider. Yeah, you wanted to share something.
Yes. Now about the water. So, okay, where we are, we managed to drill a borehole, and of course now with the solar pumping out water, you're basically guaranteed at every daybreak you have water get harvested from the ground. Now at our new project, we don't have a borehole there yet, and like we said about research, we had that the water table there is really, what's the word, low. It's really deep to drill a well there. So that's where we said, okay, let's start with the surface water, rainwater. We harvest that one and keep it. And from my experience in the neighborhood there, dams are actually built there, and there's water available in those water pans like throughout the year. So there's always a way around these places.
There's always a way around. Where there's a will, there is a way. You cannot say I don't want to buy land in a specific place because of water and what is it called? And power. There's always a way around. Yes. As long as it's safe, it's a safe place. That's what is important. As long as it is safe, these other things, I believe God made human beings to be able to be sufficient. I don't like the word self-sufficiency, but to be sufficient to some extent.
Thanks for sharing. And you had mentioned about the skills that somebody may need, and I think we can be able to touch on that as we go to the next question on that. what are some of the skills that somebody needs as they do homesteading or go towards a homesteading journey? What are the things that they need to have or plan for in terms of skills and things that they need to be able to, use to be able to turn raw land into a homestead? Because you're basically buying raw land and putting everything together to be able to give you a homestead that can be able to, basically be off-grid and basically give you food. So what are the skills?
Number one is safety. Because without safety, there is no homestead.
Yeah.
Know how to safeguard your boundary. And that is where Peter comes in. Yeah.
The skill set.
Yes. This is where he comes in. That one I can't say so much about because I have been the one protected most of the time. So number one is safety. If in your family, I can tell people, it depends with who is good with what. So security is the most important thing, because before a homestead is a homestead, there are things like snake. When we bought this place, there were venomous snakes.
Yeah.
There were some wild animals. Yeah. So once you have managed to protect your home, that's when we can talk about a homestead. Because you will not keep animals which will be killed every day. Yes. You will not keep children, when they go outside, there's a cobra, there's a python, you understand?
Yeah.
So the first thing that a person must have as a skill set is how to secure your boundaries.
Yeah.
And that Peter has done so well. Yeah. And this is where men.
So if you are a man and you see a cockroach and jump in the air, maybe this thing may not be for you.
These things and men, I've come to realize homesteading and men, they go hand in hand. Yeah. Because we came to a place where a lot of masculinity had to come to play, but not to downplay the roles of females here. And secondly, what I would like to add is this. Other than that skill set, you must have very good intuition.
Yeah.
You must have very, very good intuition.
Yeah.
Now, this one I'm talking to women.
Yeah.
Because of I believe most people want to have a homestead in the country, in the rural. Some even in a place where there are no neighbors, like in the Unzima Tele.
Yeah.
The next neighbor is very far away. Yeah. So you must be this skill set of having sharp antennas. What is it called?
Intuition.
Yes, that are like, yes, you must be very, I learned to have that skill. Yeah. Sorry, I'm so dramatic.
It's important for people to know.
Yeah, so that is the first. The second one is organizational skill of the homestead, the layout.
Yeah.
Because you can build in a place and then 5 years down the lane, you discover you don't want your house to be here. It should have been
there
in that further corner.
Yeah.
Will you start uprooting the house? You cannot. Yeah. So having that skill set of knowing this is how I'm going to arrange the homestead. I will keep the animals here. It's a big skill. You can downplay it, but actually it will make to ensure that you have a comfortable life there. And cut down losses, because you'll have to demolish things. When you discover that you built your cow shed in front of your house, so all the smell.
You'll be smelling like cows.
Yes. The entire house smells like cows every single day. You understand? You will not have peace in that place, meaning you will get into losses because there are so much structural things that you will have to demolish to have a comfortable life.
Yeah.
So that's organizational skill of the layouts. I think it's even landscaping, it's the same thing. That skill is very key. And if you're going to employ someone to do your landscaping for you, which I'm calling organizational, it's going to be very expensive. Because homesteading is about growth.
Yeah.
It's about growth. It's not 1 year you've started and you've grown to.
It's done.
Yes, it's about today we are adding a chicken coop. Tomorrow we are building a kennel. Tomorrow we are building a horse, a horse stable. So you must have that skill set of learning the photography of your land, where the wind comes from, all this, the direction of the sun. I don't know if you're getting me.
Yeah.
Yes. So the skill of safety and the skill of organizational layout of the land. Peter can continue with one more.
Okay. But also now, you need to have the practical knowledge and the practical knowledge and the know-how of nurturing, of course, if it's plants and animals, because basically that's what you want to do in that homestead. So you don't, even if you don't have to physically do it yourself, the people you might hire to help you do it, if you don't supervise them or you don't know even when you're supervising them what they really should do and what they shouldn't do, you'll run into losses. So have both the theoretical and the practical knowledge on how things are done. Either you go watch what is done in other farms or go and volunteer and learn, but at least know. You cannot just say, okay, I'm going to hire a farm help, he'll come and do this for me. It just may not work.
What you want, for sure.
Yeah, you have to.
If you're going to pay, at least you should know what they should do, not just assuming they
Yes, exactly. Yes, please, yeah, exactly.
That's quite a lot of important things people to learn. Any more additional skills?
Okay.
Maybe talk about question.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that is what we had thought about that.
It's generally, So about rests.
Those are the main ones.
Yeah.
The main ones are those ones. Other things can fall inside those categories. Yes.
Let us talk about rest. You talked about working hard. You talked about killing snakes, and basically we talked about a lot of activity. But what do you do as regards to rest? Do you take a holiday? I can imagine it's hard to take a holiday when you have chickens that need to be fed every day, or cows that need to be fended for grass and other things. So how do you go about leisure and rest as homesteaders? Do you actually do it, and how do you go about it?
That one is easier said than done. That is what I can start with. Because before you give yourself that rest, mentally you have really worked, as Peter is saying. You have gone through a lot of mental work. Okay, now we are going for this holiday. Who is going to take care of 1, 2, 3, 4? So that is already mental work. Okay, but now on the physical part, let's say, because I don't think you're going to have even mental rest. I've actually never. To me, I don't think I've ever had mental rest where I have gone somewhere, I've gone physically, but mentally I'm always thinking, if the people I've left behind, I'm always calling them, please remember to water that plant. Please, that chicken that was not feeling well, have you culled it? So I might be away, but
You're working.
I am still connected. I am always working in my head. So this rest, I feel like it's just physical. That is for me. Because I call people and ask about a certain flower. Is it thriving? Did you give it manure? And that time I'm supposed to be resting. So this thing, I believe it's just like a child to some extent. Because even if you are a parent, you will go and you leave your children. But at the back of your head, you know you have to inquire
about it.
So when we're talking about rest here, we have to zoom to physical rest. What we do is we travel a lot. That is what we do. We travel a lot for rest with our children. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones who chose this lifestyle. It is not them.
It's true.
So we don't want to make it punitive to them that they end up hating, having things they call responsibilities. Yeah, so we take a break once in a while to go and visit the city.
Yeah. So they can see the new buildings.
Yes, to see the lights, the cities. Yes, so such kind of things. Yeah, we go for merry-go-rounds and other things.
Yeah. Instead of
those things that go around and around. Yeah.
Just climbing trees, they can do merry-go-rounds at least.
Yes, play parks, yeah, so that they don't get weary of this kind of things. Yeah, and secondly, what has been very key to me, now this is to us, is make your home as comfortable and cozy as possible. So that you don't want to have an excuse to break free from your home. If your home is beautiful, if your home is cozy, if your home is you've made it welcoming and inviting and it's rich and flavorful, even when you go out, you will always want to
come back.
Yes, you just want to come back because you've made it so comfortable. So I to some extent I feel it's mental. I feel most of the time these things are just mental, because even if there's work, yes, but at the end of the day, you're gonna sit outside in your trees that you've planted and there's a hammock, and you're going to take your lemongrass that you planted and make tea and sip. Seriously, I don't think I will want to run anywhere else. I'll feel that I am on vacation and I'm resting in my homestead where I feel it's a holiday home. Yes, where you're working.
Yeah.
So you just have discipline.
Yeah.
So you just have discipline. I work from maybe 6 to 5 or to 4, and then the rest of the time I just swing on the hammock.
Yeah.
And that is okay.
That's okay. I think that's important to share, because a lot of people are fearful of homesteading because of the endless work. Even going and seeing our grandparents in the village, they are working past their 90s. And a lot of people associate that and think of it as, a form of slavery. You are enslaved to your cows and your chicken, and you can't do other things, or everything looks like work once you are at home. So it's important to share that you can be able to rest. You can also make your home comfortable enough to be a resort. You don't have to go out to enjoy yourself. You can enjoy your home also. Yeah, thanks for sharing about
that is our key.
Yeah. Basically, you are carrying like 20 people from your finances. You are carrying the hopes and expectations of many people. Sometimes it could be you're being used by people to get better, to get money out of you. And many have described it as black tax. But let me not just say black tax. Let me just say that aspect of having to, give away money to many, many people in your family and with friends. And sometimes people struggle with it. Have you guys struggled with it? What is your experience as regards to it? How have you been able to handle it? And as a family, can imagine now it is double the relatives, double the people, sometimes double the expectations. So how do you go about it, and what tips can you give some of our viewers?
What I've realized, what I learned earlier on when we got into marriage in marriage class. Now this is where it's marriage class where we were taught this. Let everybody handle their part of the family. So if it's your people who need a lot of support, you handle them. Because it is fair. It is really fair for the other person not to keep on explaining to your relative why and not why, and just saying no, because black tax has to have a level of no. So what we learned early on is everyone to deal with, their side of the family in such kind of matters. You are, finances in that aspect. Maybe your auntie better than I know her. Your cousin better. I don't know if it's a lazy man who drank all his finances. Now he wants to look for someone else. So because his character, you deal with that with your side of the family. And that, for us, that is what we employ. And that has helped us a lot. And that has helped us a lot. if it is Peter's side that needs help or his friends or whatever, I let him handle that without interference.
Yeah.
If it is my side, we sit and we talk. But you see, there's also sitting and talking. Who do we have to help? Who should not be included in the list? And then we have a budget.
Yeah.
We must have a budget. And thirdly, what we've learned is the power of saying no or wait. So I will let Peter continue with the rest.
I don't know. Is it because I'm the one who was paid? I mean, now, like she said,
is having to say no.
Okay, sometimes it's hard. It's hard to say no. So, what we've had to deal with over the years is to learn to have the courage to actually tell someone no where necessary, that you are either about to exceed your budgetary limit for, social, let me just call it like a social help, that kind of thing. So once you have this agreed budget with your spouse that, okay, for matters such as this and this, I don't know if maybe I should give examples. People might come up, okay, maybe school fees issue, or maybe someone has a medical bill, needs help. There's a budget you place that, okay, beyond this, you will not be able to help. So regardless of what that person is asking, at least you just have a limit to keep yourself in check. So you just have to know that, okay, now if maybe it's, by the way, we deal with that like in a monthly kind of thing. So if it's at the beginning of the month and give out everything that was you had budgeted to say, then maybe somewhere along the line, something genuine will really arise. So you just have to learn to always go as low as possible so that maybe you are cushioned in any future, if any need arises in the future. Yeah. But generally, there's power in saying no. Most of these things, actually, you're made to feel that the world will crash and crumble on that person if you don't chip in. But actually, when you say no, then you realize, they actually managed to deal with it and it went on. So just once you learn to get over the guilt and because definitely you'll be taken through guilt trip if it's someone who knows how to manipulate you that well. Yeah. So
yeah, I remember there's a time, especially maybe this one I can share a little bit of our story. I remember there's a time my husband is the generous type.
Yeah.
And I remember us having this discussion where I told him that, you see, at some point you cannot be the savior. Yeah, you cannot. You can't be the savior. You just have to point people to God, because once the day you will fail to meet that obligation of saving, responsible for their life, that is when making their life basically is it drop or just so we have learned to extend help, but at the same time you don't want to be you want to be the help human being. Let everybody know how to go to God himself as if you have need, but at the same time there's that balance. As a mature person, that's what you will always have to balance, and you don't have to keep on saying no every time. It's also not fair. Other than that fairness, it's just not. We've been called to touch lives. That is very important, to touch lives. But you cannot keep on saying no. There's a point to say yes, and there's a time to say wait. This month we have gone through
this and this.
Wait until later on. And there's a time when we have also had to get into our pockets to get from our own. because a need arises in someone. You cannot, it's not just about saying no. It's also about, surely you have a need. Your child was sick. I can't just say no because my budget says
no.
I will go into maybe what I put aside and let's get this child out of the hospital first. The rest we will sort later. So it also depends on a person's need.
Yeah.
But you will not come and tell me that my wife suddenly put to bed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Help me. My wife suddenly gave birth. No, you had 9 months of preparation.
Yeah.
I don't know if
It's true. It's true.
It's an accident, it's an emergency. I will get into my savings to see if I can seek help from someone else. We pull our resources together, maybe to help someone who had a very genuine need. As I said, maybe an emergency, an accident, or sickness. You see, there are those things that are beyond control. But anything that is irresponsible. And then there's this thing of, I think in African culture, we talk in very hush tones of parents.
Yeah.
How far is too far?
Yeah. It's important to talk about that.
That is a very delicate place, especially for African people, where many people have that it is now their responsibility fully to take care of the entire set of family and parents. It is their responsibility, like they're entitled to that completely. Where is the balance? So it is a very, is it a very tricky situation? So much. In our because I've had friends who they've never had developments because they're paying school fees for the entire
village
and 10 children. The parents gave birth generously. And the parents don't have any source of income, but they were giving birth every year. So the firstborn is the one who is taking care of every child. Plus with the relatives, plus with this.
It's true.
Then this also learned with her that in a family setup, maybe you should also see if you fall under the category of what was labeled as, have you been groomed to be exploited? And like there are some members within maybe a extended family or even within immediate family who you find they're always excused, like so unajua huyu, this one is not reliable, you are the only one who we can count on, you are the one who doesn't let us down. They are more mentally, you behave like that other person. So they really groom you to be in a space where you're manipulated and you are, you can't say no. So you be alert and assess and see where do they place you actually. And be alert and see where. Yes.
I think it's important to have that mature conversation because it is a very emotive topic and can get very heated very fast, can get very emotional very fast. But I think it's important that people are able to talk about it because the people who will be always burdened and will always carry everyone's cross, but no one is looking out for them. Sometimes firstborns are called deputy parents because they carry the loads of the parents, and sometimes it's a conversation that needs to be done. And I think people need to talk more about it because a lot of people sometimes suffer from it, and they can't move financially as a family, and causes a lot of stress. So thanks for sharing and talking about it, and sharing your perspective on it. Finally, final question, but I hope that we will have another conversation as we tackle more and more issues with regards to money and family. And this question is as regards to construction methods that you are currently using. I remember seeing your project in Uzimatele, and being able to use the available resources that you had on site, like the trees that you had, and being able to plan around the resources that you have on site, including the brickworks that you are doing. So how has that impacted construction of the new project, and how far can somebody be able to stretch as they look at investing in their first homestead with regards to creative or less than ordinary or conventional construction methods?
Okay, I think with that one, it's more of let's put it in the way that each place, each location is unique resources available for such purpose. Now, definitely using locally available materials, especially if you are in a place with a lot of timber and logs that make sense to do like a timber, a log house or like that. And it is places where the location you are at. From our own experience, doing the interlocking blocks made it very cheap to construct walls, really cheap, like almost half the cost, literally. And even the project you mentioned in Uzimatele, it was really good using the trees that were available there, and even the mud, it's readily available there. But now it also goes with what we mentioned earlier, maybe the skill set of the people you are getting to help you. If they are able to do that, to meet your standards and the expectations, especially, like even what you mentioned, like when we are making the mud walls in Zimatele, now it reached a point, we started during when the rains were easing off. Now, somewhere along the way, the water really became a problem. It dried up and we couldn't continue. It was no longer cheap the way it was in the beginning, because now we had to carry water from some distance, and those are costs which we didn't anticipate. So it's more of just a research and see what suits within each geographical location. And another method maybe you used recently also, there's a section within our property which we were able to put a perimeter wall. Now, most walls are usually done with blocks here, but with this one, we were able to have, what are they called? Masons do it for us using a mesh wire and gunny bags and some cement and sand. And they made a very beautiful wall, which I think it was even less than half the cost here. And even the pace of the work, it was done very fast. And so it's being open-minded and just being courageous enough to do something different.
And it's interesting that when you talk about mud, and people assume mud cannot be able to build a permanent house. And I've seen actual mud houses that last years and years and years. And also the properties of mud on how they can be able to affect even, like a mud house is much cooler inside than outside. So when outside is very hot, inside is very cool. There are so many things that people could explore, and it's good that you guys are trying so that people can be able to see them working, you know. So not just theory, you guys have actually done it from, you know, the wall experiment to working with interlocking bricks to working with logs. You guys have really done quite a bit. So are you looking to add new creative styles in as you continue, or you're now done with the new things that you are doing at the new farm?
I think it's more with the perfecting what we did with what you've done so far. Like I mentioned, I think you even agreed along the way that the more you do something, you get to know how to be more efficient with it and eliminate the mistakes maybe which brought about unwanted costs. So I feel now we are better equipped to handle these things in an easier, in a more less expensive way. So I would right now feel like I would do what we have done, because I think I now know how to make it even better. Yeah.
And it's good you're talking about construction, because the best performing video on my channel is about construction. A lot of people want to build, they want to have a home, but going around it, sometimes you are forced to think conventional or what other people are doing. People don't think about the resources they can be able to use or utilize, and the creativity that goes around building things that could make them get a house faster than they assume. So, So I think now at this juncture, I will allow you to tell people how they can be able to get your channel, what they can be able to expect. Basically, it's a free plug for your channel and maybe the things that you're planning to do and talk about in your channel. Yeah. So basically, you're free. The floor is yours.
Okay, I would like to say thank you very much for, let's start for watching us. Thank you very much. And also for having us over here, talk with you. It's been really pleasant and fun. I didn't think it would be like this. I enjoyed talking to you. So thank you very much again. And for the viewers, you can find us at our channel is Homesteading with the Anga Family, Kenya. And you basically do the home stuff, like you said, where we show normally the things that we've been able to do in the homestead. And also we have some sit downs with my wife, especially, where we discuss many aspects of our journey in homesteading. And there are definitely more coming up. And I think as we are growing channel, we are now getting more, let's say, getting more bolder to speak and, call things out as they are. And I believe there's a lot that we can share and grow together with those who watch us.
Okay. Elizabeth, maybe you can say something as we wind up.
Yeah, thank you so much. It has been fun. I've really enjoyed. I'm rejuvenated. I've learned a lot from you as well. So much. Yeah, to your viewers, thank you so much for watching this far. We appreciate you. And yeah, welcome. Check us out as well. I'm studying with the Anga Family. Yeah.
And we look forward to interacting even in the comments. Yes. So we'll definitely like to also learn about what they think about what we talked about.
Yes. Yeah, we'd like to hear so much about the opinion in the comment section concerning what we've talked about today.
Yeah, so everybody.
Yeah, we will participate in the comments.
Comment, suggest, go to their channel, as I will leave a link down in the comment section, and let us engage with the Anga family, because there's a lot to learn from them. And yeah, so thank you guys for opening your home to viewers, opening your lives to viewers, opening your family to viewers, allowing people to follow your journey, being courageous to do something and to start. And yeah, I can see bright, wonderful things coming in the future. So yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, and
Thank you.
Keep the conversation going. This is not the last one. This is the first of many. Yeah, as we talk about it and as we try to educate Kenyans on, how to improve their lives and become better. So thank you.
Thank you.